In this video, we try to solve a coding challenge. The challenge is given an integer and return a reverse order of numbers. For example, if you have an input of 1, 2, 3, 4, we should get back 4, 3, 2, 1. The function should also consider negative numbers. For example, if you have minus 9, 8, 7, we should get back minus 7, 8, 9. And there are 4 steps needs to be done in order to solve this challenge. First, we need to use a loop to iterate through the numbers, each digit at a time. And second, we need to extract the last digit from the number. And this could be done through using modulo operator. And I will tell you exactly how to use modulo operator and how it works behind the scene. And once we extracted the last digit, we need to add it to a reverse variable. And this is the third step. And lastly, we need to check if the number is negative. If you have minus 987, we need to check if the original number was negative number so that we multiply the reverse number by minus 10. So let's go ahead and define a function to see that in action. So the name of the function would be reverse int, and this would get a variable called number, and the type is integer, and the return for this function should be an integer as well. So before we do anything, we need to assign number to a temp variable because we will iterate through the number and reduce one digit. And somehow we need to keep the original number as it is so that we can compare later on if the original number was negative number or not. So that's why we store the number to a temporary variable. And second, we need to create another variable for reverse number. So we call this reversed number and we assign 0 to it. So let's go ahead and scroll a little bit so that we can see more. So before we write our algorithm, we need to check if the input is a negative value. Because if it's negative, we need to convert it somehow to a positive number. And later on, we check if it was negative. If it was negative, so that we multiply it by minus 10 to get a negative reverse value. So if temp is less than 0, we need to convert the temp value to a positive number. So temp equal to ABS, that means absolute value of the original number. If we pass minus 1, 2, 3, the return value will be 1, 2, 3. So it will convert this to a positive number. Once we've done this, we need a kind of loop to iterate through the numbers digit by digit. So in this case, we use while loop. So while temp is bigger than 0, so the while loop will be only terminated once we get to 0. And the way to get the digit from the right side, as we have discussed before, we need to use modulo number. So I will explain how to use modulo number here to get the right digit. So if you have 1, 2, 3, we need to extract 3 from 1, 2, 3. And later on, once this is done, we need to extract 2. And once we extracted that, we will extract 1. And once we get 0, we will go out of the loop. So let's create a variable called digit. And we get the temporary variable. And we will use modulo operator, which is a percentage sign. So basically, if you have 1, 2, 3, we are essentially dividing this value by 10. And we keep dividing by 10 until we are out of numbers. And the remaining value will be returned. So in this case, we have 123. And how many 10s we have in this? We have essentially 12. Because if you multiply 12 by 10, it will be 120. So we will be left with 3. This will be the remainder from the division. And the return value will be 3. And we do the same once we extract 3 from the original value. And later on, we have 12. And once we divide 12 by 10, we will have only 1 10. And then the remainder will be 2. So 2 will be returned. And once we extract 2 from the original value, we will have 1. And essentially, we cannot divide it by 10. So the remainder will be 1. So once we get 0, and then we go out of the loop. And once we extract the number, we need to add it to the reversed numbers. So let's call reversed number. And this will equal to, essentially, we need to get the reversed number. So we get the same number and multiply it by 10. And then we add the digit to it. So let's suppose that we had 1, 2, 3. So the extracted value will be 3. And so this is 3. We have 0 here. So 0 multiplied by 10, this will be 0 plus 3. Essentially, the reverse number will be 3. And later on, once we get 2, and the reverse value from the previous one was 3, so 3 multiplied by 10, it will be 30, plus 2, it will be 32. So 32. And then once we got 1 left, we have 32 in the reverse number, and multiplied by 10, it will be 320, plus the digit, which is 1, so it will be 321. So this is how we keep adding the right digit to the reversed number. So if you have the input of 1, 2, 3, and we got the right digit, and we need somehow to extract it from the original value. So we need to kind of delete this. And the way to do this, we need to get the temp value and this temp, and we need to divide it by 10. So this will shorten the number by 1 digit. And once we have this, we can return the reversed number. And all we need to do is to go out of the reverse integer function and call the function. So print and reverse int, and then pass 1, 2, 3, 4 to this function. So let's go ahead and run our program and see the result. Type Python 3 and the name of the file, which is reverseint.py, and hit enter. As you can see, we were able to reverse the number. So the original one was 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have 4, 3, 2, 1. But how about if we pass a negative number? So let's see if you put a negative number here and run our program again. As you can see, the negative number will no longer be there. And the reason is that we converted the number to a positive using an absolute value. So we need to check if the original value was negative number. And in order to do this, we need to go outside the loop. So if the original number is less than 0, all we need to do, we get the reversed number and then multiply that by -1. So this will get us a negative value. And to see the result, let's go ahead and save our program. Python 3 reverseint.py and hit enter. And as you can see, now we have -4321. So guys, we did it. And I hope this video was informative. And if you managed to solve this coding challenge in a different way, please provide your solution in the comment down below so that we learn from your solution as well. And before you leave, do not forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.